Elected officials are officially joining demand from us, Mass Liberation Arizona, and directly impacted protesters from Maricopa County for Maricopa County Attorney Allister Adel to resign or be recalled. Mass Liberation Arizona has been calling for Allister Adel's resignation since February of 2021 after the scandals surrounding the political prosecutions in 2020 that unfolded. The consensus from all of these community leaders is that Allister Adel must resign or be recalled. And I need to say that a little louder because we are in front of the Maricopa County Attorney's Office, that Allister Adel must resign or be recalled. We will be hearing from speakers who will be talking about centering their experiences of directly impacted people. We will cover how Allister Adel's tenure has been filled with lies, corruption, and political prosecutions. Allister Adel's poor leadership has resulted in multiple investigations, high-level resignations, multi-million-dollar lawsuits, and a federal investigation by the Department of Justice. Speakers will discuss how the political prosecution of 39 protesters, including myself, are part of a pattern of misconduct within the office that Adel has neither faced accountability nor expressed remorse. I will also be talking about Adel's reactive decision to return to work after only 18 days of treatment and the detailed campaign that includes dozens of billboards across the county calling for Allister Adel to resign or face an unavoidable recall. The first speaker that I will bring up today is Heather Hamill of the People's Law Firm.
Hello, my name is Heather Hamill. I am a civil rights attorney working at the People's Law Firm. I'm here today in part because our office has filed a lawsuit against MCAO and against Adel personally for their involvement in the political prosecutions of nearly 40 protesters over the summer of 2020. As Bruce mentioned before, this office's effort to undermine racial justice and free speech through gross distortions of law is not new. As a matter of fact, it's only the latest in a years-long pattern of gross overreach, police abuse, and prosecutorial misconduct aimed at assisting this state's racist police forces, in this case, the Phoenix Police Department. Between 2009 and 2014, MCAO initiated a host of false prosecutions against individuals they believed were their political opponents. That was done under the leadership of Andrew Thomas. In 2019, under the leadership of Bill Montgomery, this office politically prosecuted Black Lives Matter activist and organizer Jamar Williams, and that is a tradition that Adel has picked up. She's picked up that torch and carried it, politically prosecuting almost 40 protesters in 2020. Like I said, our office has filed a lawsuit on behalf of protesters impacted by these political prosecutions because those individuals should be made whole. But repairing the enormous amount of harm done doesn't end with resolution of a lawsuit because the public, as well as our clients, were deeply damaged by these gross abuses of power. Therefore, we're here to join the chorus of community groups and leaders in asking Allister Adel to resign. In her very short time in office, she has completely abdicated both her professional responsibilities and the public trust. And there should be consequences for such egregious and dilatory conduct, including the inability to hold public office. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Heather. Next, we will have the Executive Director of the Maricopa County Democratic Party, Miss Alexia Galloway.
My name is Alexia Galloway, and I'm the Maricopa County Democratic Party Executive Director. Maricopa County Democratic Party calls on the resignation of County Attorney Allister Adel. Adel has lost the trust and confidence of the people she represents. This issue has nothing to do with partisan politics and everything to do with the people she was elected to represent. It also has nothing to do with her recovery and those who are suffering through mental health issues. Maricopa County Democratic Party championed the importance of health care and mental health in particular. It also has everything to do with her brief tenure as the county attorney being rife with controversy, lack of transparency, and accountability. Now, the Department of Justice is here in Maricopa County because of the lack of transparency and the corruption and the collusion that is coming out of Maricopa County Attorney's Office. She has failed to notify the public about her mental health struggles. She was forced to come forward. So not only was she not transparent about the charges that she brought to protesters last summer, she was not transparent about the issues that she faced as the county attorney. We need a county attorney that supports and follows people that are exercising their First Amendment rights. Charging peaceful protesters as gang members highlights the need for her to resign. We are proud to stand with Mass Liberation Arizona and other partner organizations in calling for County Attorney Allister Adel to resign or be recalled. It's time we began focusing on down-ballot races across Maricopa County, because we need a local government that represents everyone. People often like to say Black women turn out to vote by the highest margin. Not only do Black women turn out in the highest margin, we support Black communities, we uplift Black voices, and we center directly impacted people. So you will continue to see Maricopa County Democratic Party center directly impacted people, and you will continue to see us show up and support people that are marginalized in our communities. Thank you. And as one of the great philosophers, Martin Luther King Jr. said, our lives begin to end the moment we become silent about the matters at hand.
Thank you, Alexia. Next, we will have one of the few elected officials who made their voices heard when the political prosecutions first took place. We'll have Legislative District 26, State Representative. Oh yeah, you are 27, ain't you? Why don't you just represent all of it? 26, 27, bring them all together, we all good. Big salutes to Legislative District 26 as well, who couldn't make it. But we will have the state representative of the 27th Legislative District, Diego Rodriguez.
All right. Thanks, man. That's good. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here today as an elected official to stand up for transparency and accountability in Maricopa County. What we know, we know that there are facts that are no longer in dispute. We know that 39 people were wrongfully targeted for prosecution by a team that was made up of law enforcement from the Phoenix Police Department and members of the Maricopa County Attorney's Office. None of that is in dispute. We know that the Justice Department is now coming to our county, to our community, to look at the conduct of this office and determine whether or not civil rights have been violated and what can be done about that. We know that those 39 people have had to file a lawsuit because their lives were literally taken from them and they were placed into jail, many of them held for months, on charges that we now know were completely manufactured before the protest even started, ladies and gentlemen. That is a shocking abuse of government power. And so, will those folks receive compensation from their civil lawsuit? More than likely, I'll tell you, yes, they probably will. As an experienced attorney, I will tell you they probably will. Will the Justice Department make recommendations? Yes, it probably will. But that still leaves us, the people of Maricopa County, wondering and waiting for the time where elected officials are going to be held accountable for their misconduct. We have a county attorney at this time, when she was recently interviewed, who completely failed to even accept or acknowledge what her office had done. The complete failure to accept responsibility for what happened is disqualifying for an elected official who is running the 5th largest prosecutorial agency in the United States. We cannot tolerate that. And then to turn around and further add insult to injury and to solicit the reporter who was interviewing her, solicit their help in teaching the citizens how to peacefully protest, when we know in fact that the protests were peaceful and the misconduct was entirely on the side of law enforcement and the Maricopa County Attorney's Office. As a former prosecutor, I can tell you the power of the state is immense. If you have been lucky enough to avoid getting involved in the criminal justice system, then you should count your blessings. Because if you are ever caught up in the system, you will understand what it feels like to be an ant at the foot of a giant. The state's resources are limitless. The state's determination, when it decides it wants to punish someone and convict someone, is endless. And what you see here is an abuse of that power. And that's why we cannot stand for this. And that's why when the first time that these good folks brought this situation to my attention, I stood with them and I called for her resignation. And I still call for the chief of police resignation as well, by the way, because she has to bear the water as well. So as we move forward, let's all keep in mind that what happened to these 39 people could have happened to any one of us. And none of us can afford to stand by while a government uses its immense power to abuse the rights of its peaceful citizens who are using their constitutionally granted rights to give voice to their protests and to their grievances. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Rodriguez. Next, we will have, from the Working Families Party, Matthew Marquez.
Hi, my name is Matthew Marquez. I'm the State Campaigns Director for the Working Families Party here in Arizona. For far too long, communities, frontline communities, and communities you see represented behind me have known the truths of corrupt politicians like Allister Adel. And that goes from the police up to the highest level of government. And we will no longer sit idly by as communities are illegally prosecuted. And we see that day in and day out. So today, we stand with Mass Liberation, other partner organizations, to say enough is enough. That we will ensure that Allister Adel, if she does not resign, that she will be recalled. And we will use everything in our power to ensure that communities that we represent are always first. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Next, we will have the Executive Director of Tomorrow We Vote Action, Brent Whiting.
Hello, my name is Brent Whiting of Tomorrow We Vote Action. Now, we focus on issues that are affected by people who vote. So I can't tell you who to vote for, but I can tell you that Tomorrow We Vote Action stands with the 39 who were falsely accused, as well as mass liberation. If you can see the people behind me, everybody here is somebody's child. I am somebody's child, and we all have children. Now imagine your child be sent up the river for doing something that they were constitutionally allowed to do peacefully. That's what they were facing. This is something that voters have to know what they are up against. Who you vote into office is something that is going to have good results or bad results. Allister Adel is one person who I can't tell you what to do with her, but I'm going to tell you we stand with Mass Lib as into what they want to do to her. In the history, we have seen people like J. Edgar Hoover, George Wallace, Bull Connor, you can add Allister Adel to that list. When there are black issues that matter and people fight to protest against, or for that, I should say, for those issues, for black issues particularly in history, we always have an Allister Adel out there willing to lock people up for doing what is right and constitutionally right. At Tomorrow We Vote Action, we will always back the constitutionally right thing to do. And these people were constitutionally right to do what they did. Don't have your children wind up like Allister Adel. Wind up like them. The ones who will fight for the rights of black, brown people all over the United States, because they're the ones in history who have moved our movement progressively forward. We are where we are because of people like them. Locking them up is a mistake, and there are going to be consequences to that. So voters, you know what to do. Listen to mass liberation. Thank you.
Thank you, Brent. Next, we will have Luke Black of AZ Poder.
Good afternoon. My name is Luke Black, and I am with AZ Poder. We fight to defund the police, abolish ICE, and hold politicians accountable. We stand in solidarity with Mass Liberation Arizona's demand that Allister Adel resign or be recalled. Allister Adel used her office to target black and brown community members who stood up to police violence. She used her office and her elected power to go after community members exercising their constitutional rights. Since taking office, she has lied and evaded accountability. She must resign. Allister Adel is yet another example of an elected official in this county who targets and terrorizes our communities. We have endured Arpaio, Montgomery, Penzone, and now Adel. Black and brown communities have fought back against this violence for 20 years now, and we will continue to fight back against Allister Adel. We will not be terrorized by Maricopa County law enforcement anymore. Adel must resign or be removed from office. Thank you.
Thank you, Luke. We still here, y'all?
Oh, yeah.
Touch one.
Touch all.
Touch one.
Touch all.
Touch one.
Touch all.
Next, we will have from AZ Wins, Ian Danley.
Hello, my name is Ian Danley with Arizona Wins. We're a progressive coalition pushing for democracy reform, civic engagement, voting, and holding elected officials accountable. It is clear our county attorney is not fit for this job. The short era of her tenure has been defined by mismanagement, controversy, fraud, and even corruption. The lack of transparency, the public antics, and troubling evidence that seems to grow bigger every week all point to an office in disarray and an elected official who has failed badly. This is unacceptable from the top law enforcement official in Maricopa County. The work and voice of directly impacted folks, people who have felt the unfairness and injustice of our criminal justice system and the corruption of the Maricopa County Attorney's Office, is fundamental to restoring trust with local law enforcement and building the community we all dream about. Mass Live Arizona in particular has courageously spoken out and led in the face of this corruption, and many were wary to listen. But now, given the absurdity, the lack of transparency and malfeasance from the county attorney's office, many are now realizing Mass Live was right all along. It's time to listen to folks who have lived under the weight of corrupt law enforcement, personally lived with the consequences of that corruption, and are demanding a better way forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ian. Next, from Progress, Arizona, we have Emily Kirkland.
Hi, all. all, my name is Emily Kirkland. I am the Executive Director of Progress Arizona. We serve as a communications and digital hub for Arizona progressives, fighting to make Arizona a place that truly works for everyone. One major area of focus for us and for so many others this year has been the fight to preserve, protect, and build our democracy. And it is hard to overstate the level of threat posed to democracy by the kind of political prosecutions brought by Allister Adel's office this year. This is a fundamental attack on the freedom to assemble and on the basic norms and institutions of democracy. And we are so clear that elected officials like Allister Adel, who screw up, who take such serious missteps, who attack democracy in such a serious way, and who have such a devastating impact on people's lives, need to be held accountable. It's so important that this campaign is being led by the Black protesters who were directly impacted by these political prosecutions, and that this is a campaign that centers their vision and their understanding of the steps to move forward. We're so proud to stand here today with Mass Liberation and with so many other partners and elected officials, and like them, we are so clear in saying that Allister Adel must resign or be removed from office. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Emily. Next, we will have another one of the elected officials who have been speaking up. Again, I want to give a shout out to Legislative District 26, who has also been speaking up and speaking out that wasn't able to make it today. But right now, we'll bring up from Legislative District 29, Senator Martín Quezada.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Martín Quezada, and I'm proud to serve the people of Maryville and Glendale in Legislative District 29 as their state senator. I gotta let you know, I've served in elected office for over 11 years. And I can tell you that accountability measures like the ones we are doing right here, right now, they are not fun. They're never the funnest part of our job as elected officials. They are uncomfortable. They shine a light on our failures. They shine a light on our weaknesses rather than our successes. So we'd avoid them if we could, right? But here's the thing. As much as we as elected officials dislike these accountability measures, they are incredibly important because they keep us honest and they keep us grounded. And they become necessary and they become vital when, especially when those weaknesses and those failures that we have as elected officials rise to the level of betraying our values and contradicting the duties of the office that we hold. And that's exactly what we have going on right here, right now with County Attorney Allister Adel. She has betrayed our values and she has contradicted the duty that she has to uphold justice in her office. And this isn't new news. This isn't a breaking story right now. We've known about this for a long time. We've known about this problem for a very long time now. And that's why all of us have been speaking out from day one, even before those first political arrests took place. We have a responsibility, all of us, whether it's you, whether it's me, whether it's all of us, we all have a responsibility to acknowledge and to center the experiences of our Black brothers and sisters and who have been directly and negatively impacted by the decisions made by this county attorney's office. If we aren't at the very least doing that, then we are failing ourselves and we are betraying our own values. So that's why I am here today to stand with my brothers and sisters here today, to stand with each and every one of these leaders who have so bravely stood up against these injustices that are taking place in our criminal injustice system today. They have protested to make their voices heard, and they have faced the consequences of the politically motivated and unethical practices by this county attorney's office. Because of that, I am proud to stand here with them to say that County Attorney Allister Adel must resign or she will be recalled. And I am proud to stand in solidarity with each and every one of these individuals, and I'm proud to stand with Mass Liberation Arizona. Thank you all very much.
Thank you to everyone that spoke. everyone who stands in solidarity, those who want to be in right relationship with Black directly impacted organizing. We appreciate you. We appreciate our partners. We appreciate all of our partners who have spoken, our partners who weren't able to speak. We want to give a shout out to Planned Parenthood. We want to give a shout out to those who are in education that showed up for our public education. Give them a hand as well. On August 9th, I'll say this first, not only am I the Electoral Justice Director at Mass Liberation Arizona, I am a directly impacted person from last year's political prosecutions. On August 9th, my son's birthday, as we left his party, we decided to go exercise our First Amendment rights. Little did I know that I wasn't going to be able to come home that night. Little did I know that those who stepped out that night weren't going to be able to go home to their families and their places of comfort. Those places of comfort are no longer. What the Maricopa County Attorney has done to not only the 39 who face the serious charges, the serious felonies, because they're all serious charges, but the serious felonies that got indicted, the 160 who got charged with felonies in the first place, the over 400 people who were arrested in the first place, those families, those friends, those loved ones who had to face all of this time figuring out if these charges that were handed down, if we're going to do years. We have folks who were facing 20 years. We have folks who were facing 40 years. We have somebody, a person, a family member, a freedom fighter who was facing 100.5 years. Now let that sit for a second. 100.5 years for making their voices heard. Charged, indicted by this office. By this office that decided to collude with the Phoenix Police Department and bring these charges down. And our county attorney wants grace. Well, I'm going to speak from a directly impacted person's place. What was the grace? All those nights we had to wake up in the middle of the night worried about if we're going to be charged the next day, if we're going to be indicted, if we're going to actually be convicted of these crimes. What about the grace then? What about the grace for those who can't get a job right now because when they run their name, this is still on their arrest record, even though the charges have been dropped? What about the grace for those who've had to move out of town, who've had to leave their jobs, who can't find jobs simply because of the political prosecutions? What about the grace for them? See, I'm a former elected official as well, and I know what it's like to take a step back because of your mental health. What I don't know is what it's like to mess up lives and damage lives and uproot lives on your way out. That's not what we're here for. So as we talk, as we say, resign or be recalled, there are no other options. If you don't resign, Allister, Adel, to all of her folks and her employees who may still be outside, who can hear our voices, you will be recalled. A lot of attorneys wanted that same grace for those clients that they've had to represent and had to stand in front of Maricopa County Attorney's Office. Because as you heard before, this didn't just happen last year. This office hasn't been problematic just last year. They have their own pattern and practice of harm, violence, collusion, lies, political prosecutions. But we not standing for that no more. Mass Live gonna pull up. That's what we do. We're gonna pull up and we're gonna hold you accountable. And we thank those who stand with us in holding them accountable. So as I close out, what I want everybody to do, continue to call on the resignation of Allister Adel. Social media, smoke signals, I don't care how you do it. Continue to call on her to be resigned. Make it loud, make it intentional, and make it unapologetic. And just in case she doesn't listen to the thousands now telling her to resign, just in case she doesn't listen to the 30 billboards around Maricopa County that's telling her to resign or get recalled, just in case she doesn't listen to all the directly impacted people who she's seen stand up and organize in real time, just in case she doesn't listen to the community organizations and the elected officials that decided to use their voice, just in case she doesn't listen, we will recall you. Martin Luther King said there comes a time when you do something not because it's political, not because it's popular, not because it's safe, because your conscience tells you it's right. We don't need any more safeness. Safeness ain't gonna keep us alive. We say Black Lives Matter, but safeness ain't gonna make those Black Lives matter any more than they already do. It's time to be dangerous. Martin Luther King was one of the most dangerous people in 1968. And that's because he could do this. Bring people together. Fight at all costs. So as I close, I will say, and those who know it, y'all know what time it is. It is our duty to fight for our freedom. I think she need to hear us up there, y'all. It is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. It is our duty to win. We must love and protect each other. We must love and protect each other. We have nothing to lose but our chains. We have nothing to lose but our chains. It is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. It is our duty to win. We must love and protect each other. We must love and protect each other. We have nothing to lose but our chains. We have nothing to lose but our chains. Elected officials, remember when you legislate like we got nothing to lose but our chains. Organizers, when you organize like we got nothing to lose but our chains. Protesters, we gonna protest like we got nothing to lose but our chains. Teacher, you better teach like we ain't got nothing to lose but our chains. We have to fight like we have nothing to lose but our chains, y'all. We at Mass Liberation thank everybody for showing up. We ask you to continue to be unapologetic, continue to be intentional, continue to be loud as we call on Allister Adel to resign or be recalled. Thank you.